Now he's a wizard.
Okay, so this is the first fight that you encounter when you go out of the west gate. It's pretty much right out of the gate, right outside the gate. At least I think it's the west gate. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pause this for a second. What is kind of interesting is that there's this guy dead in the poison, presumably a legionnaire or whatever, but there's like an armored skeleton guy here and another skeleton, and I think in there, you can't really see it, but there is a zombie, a half-eaten zombie. Zombie's bad because he can poison you and stuff, so you want to try and pick him off before he gets over to you, which luckily I think is usually not too hard because generally speaking the zombies don't move that fast. So but anyway, let me just show you here if I can. This I believe is the zombie. You have to forgive my terrible circles here. Drawing with a mouse pointer is hard. This would be the armored skeleton. I believe he's an archer. We'll see pretty soon here. And then this is just a standard like skeletal swordsman guy. So those are the three guys that you can easily see that are going to be involved in the fight. Okay, let's start this up again. Right here, I think I was just trying to decide how far away I should be when I started the fight and what I should open it with. Yeah, you can clearly see the half-eaten zombie there. I don't remember, I was thinking about using head vice, I think, but I got it from a wand and it costs a lot of skill points, so I thought, you know, if I can use it right off the bat, then it won't, because I'm not in combat yet, it won't cost any skill points if I use it as an opener. So now her main thing, Alessa, I created her to be big on wands, and she's got some witchcraft and some arrow third spells, I think, and I just recently, when she leveled up, added some fire. So she's essentially Inquisitor, I think, is the preset. And that was Oath of Desecration, I believe, which is a nice. I don't remember if it's a boost to damage or accuracy, but it's a nice buff. So. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to use the medium intelligence potion, which I did. Part of the reason that I was using potions and stuff already is because I had failed this fight twice before this time when I finally beat it, and so I was really not wanting to go over this fight like 5 times. I mean, you know, it's an interesting fight, but it gets old when you start dying all the time. So, of course, that's just one of the things that happens sometimes when you go into Tactician mode, I guess, because I believe that, yeah, that's what they called it, Tactician mode. It's essentially hard mode, and I think it's new for the Enhanced Edition. Okay, so bitter cold. Let me see here. Let's pause this. Okay, so bitter cold is something that I just love a lot because it basically it puts an enemy, assuming that it applies, you know, and that you don't fail to apply it, which this guy has a 105% chance to set frozen, so it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to be able to freeze anything unless they have something, unless they can't be frozen or something like that. The reason I like it is because it's cheap. It only costs 2 action points and it freezes somebody. So, you know, use it on like a spellcaster or somebody that could get really annoying for you that you're trying to fight, and they're just out of the picture for a couple turns at least. I don't remember, 2 turns it says. So that's, you know, that's not, 2 turns isn't the best, but it's, you know, think of all the action points of those 2 turns that they could have cast spells at you with and whatnot that they won't be able to. So anyway, let's start this back up here. That's something that has consistently bothered me. I like that you can drag the skills, but sometimes when you're trying to cast them, if you don't click on them right, it'll like act like you're trying to drag them out of the skill bar. I think they should lock that to when you have the skill book open or something. Or at least the skill book or the inventory or whatever, just so that you're not accidentally dragging skills out. It seems like if you click more in the middle or the lower part, then it'll cast a spell, whereas if you click on the upper part of a skill, you know, icon or like the edges, then for whatever reason it seems more likely to try and drag it out instead of casting it. Could be that I'm just clicking too long. I don't know. But it's somewhat annoying and they should fix that. What was I doing here? Oh, yeah. Well, pretty much just trying to decide between Flare and Malediction, it looks like. What? Oh, and I chose Malediction. For the Armored Decapitator. Or no, I didn't. I was going to, and then I just decided to hit him with wands. Which I like the wands auto attacks. They're pretty decent. Or not auto, but you know, the ones that don't require skills. I guess default attacks with the wands, I should say. I don't know why Medora was over there, but I was trying to get her more in the melee because that's really the only thing that she's for. Wanting to electrify that water so I can stun those guys, but I don't remember if this worked or not, because some let's see here. Yeah, no, Shocking Touch is not going to be far enough. You're going to have to use Blitzbolt if you want to try and electrify the water, but I'm not sure if that can target ground or not. I don't. And it didn't work. It didn't electrify the puddle anyway, which is too bad. I think that was what I was going for there. Summon Spider, my old standby. Alright. So the spider's nice. pretty obvious reasons, you know, just somebody else to take damage, somebody else to do damage, somebody that you don't really care too much if it dies. Oh, those... Okay, I'm going to pause this, because this was not in the original fight. Well, I don't know how far into the fight, but however long, you know, this fight's been going on, about that far into the fight, and I don't know if it's based on how much damage you do or if it's just timed, but a while into the fight, all of a sudden, these guys just pop up out of nowhere, which is a huge pain if you have people, like, right in this area, because they're like electrified zombies of some kind. So I think they do poison damage, but they also, I know that they do a lot of electricity stuff. Like they'll shock characters and things and stun them so they can't move, which is very annoying. And just in general be a huge nuisance. These were not in the normal or classic difficulty setting, and they basically made this fight a whole lot harder. Like, I don't remember really ever dying in this fight in Classic, but this, I had to go through it 3 times before I finally managed to beat it, and even though I beat it in this video, there's a little bit of a catch to why I beat it, which you will see. Alright. So my spider's not looking too good. He's gonna get wailed upon, but that's sort of what he's there for. At least those things don't move very fast. That, I will say, was a good thing. But it still doesn't look great right now. You know, I think I only managed to... Did I kill anything yet? I don't think so. I don't know if I might have killed one thing, but if so, that's probably it. Now I got these 2 electric freaks creeping up on me. Bolt-stricken zombies. I was gonna freeze one of them because, well, I already explained how much I love freezing stuff. Luckily it worked. I hadn't run into them before, so I wasn't sure that it would work. I suppose I could have done lore. She has lore masters, so I could have tried to examine them, which I did not think about. I never remembered to do that, actually, which is terrible. I need to start doing that so I get more of an idea of what's going to work against stuff. I cursed him. The weak failed. That was malediction right there, I think. Yeah, one thing I would suggest for this battle, if you're having trouble with it, is open it as far away from those guys as you can. Because like I said, one thing is you don't want to be anywhere near those 2 little, like, hill type things where those electric guys pop up because they're a pain. And the other reason is if you actually, spoiler alert, if you actually go back, you'll see later in this video, and this is kind of what saved me here. If you move far enough backwards, you're close enough to the gate that the Legionnaires will jump in the fight. Or the Legionaries, or whatever they're called. Anyway, which probably saved me. I might have been okay, but I'm not really confident enough in that I could say it with absolute certainty. Right. I was thinking about blessing myself, and then using Ricochet, obviously. Except I didn't have, I didn't have enough action points, so I just used Ricochet, which which is still good. I landed. I think Bless only increases chance to hit anyway. And Alessa is pretty much almost dead. Well, she's still whipping those wands around though. I like that animation. I think that's awesome. That just half karate sort of spinning of her wands that she does. Reminds me of that dude in Indiana Jones. Of course, he didn't end so well, but... Alright, so that is also from a fireball right there. That is from one of the wands that I have equipped, and it costs a lot of action points. I think it's 9, because that is what I have right there. It costs less if you actually have the skill. When you get wand skills, sometimes you get higher level skills, which are good, but they cost a lot because there's no way you're gonna have, like, I think that one recommended like 3 pyrokinetic, and I only had, I mean, she's only got like 1 at this point, I think, or maybe 2. The old oil and fire thing is great. Doesn't always work quite as good as it could here because this whole area is rainy, but it's still worth doing most of the time. So you just got to be careful that you don't use something that would burn on someone who's been frozen, obviously, because then it will unfreeze them and probably just make them warm. Which is terrible. I did that once and I was like, why did I do that? All I was thinking was, oh, damage! But see, now that guy, I think that is what happened to that guy, isn't it? Because he was frozen. And that fire made him wet, but I needed to do that. I needed to do something here because these guys are not taking enough damage fast enough, and it was looking pretty grim. That I think that's Whirlwind, which, if it hits, should spin around and do some damage to them. Crushing Fist is always good when it works. And it did work. It seems like it does usually work. As long as you have a high enough man-at-arms skill, or whatever it's called. Teleport. Teleport is great. It's expensive, but it's great because you can just take somebody and get them far, far away from you, or drop them in flaming oil or whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. At this point, he only has 2 action points left, so I pretty much realized pretty quick just to skip turn, but... Oh, and there, I think Alessa just died. That stupid other zombie's creeping up on me. So yeah, it was looking pretty bad at this point. I have 2 characters that are at about half health. One is at full health and one's dead, so... Luckily enough, I decided, you know, I'm gonna need her, so I resurrected Alessa. And I just so happened, I was like, well, I don't want her to die right away again. So I resurrected her back a little ways on the road, and I didn't know this was going to happen when I did it. But she, if you notice there, she basically drew 2 guards into the fight. They're listed there at the top in the initiative order. So, which is kind of funny. It's almost like a little bit of a cheat. But I think maybe they intended that just in case, because that's like the first fight that you encounter going out that gate, and they didn't want it to, you know, just be impossible for people, I suppose. So it's like, if you want, you can kind of do this sort of cheat-ish thing where you pull the guards into the fight. And they are pretty good. I think they're all melee. They have a couple of ranged abilities, but...
for a dry shirt!
And she's whining about, you know, how her shirt's wet. This is not the time for a wet t-shirt contest, okay? There's some more serious things going on right now than that. Also, she doesn't have a kingdom, so can't really make that offer. Okay, finally killed somebody. I think it was one of the bolt-stricken zombies? I wasn't paying enough attention. Anyway, one person down. At this point, it started to look a little bit better. I had the guards in, the legionaries or whatever. I realized all of a sudden, hey, you know, this guy does have a healing spell. Now he, Arthemir, that guy right there, the guy whose turn it is, he's a Wayfarer, I think, so, which ends up being kind of cool. You have to kind of split up some stuff a little bit between intelligence and dexterity, because dexterity is for the bow, and intelligence is for geomancer, but I like the combination of geomancer and ranger, so I did it anyway. It's worked out pretty good. Your intelligence doesn't have to be too terribly high, you know, I mean, the summon spider pretty much always works, and the other skills, you know, I mean, they might have an 80 or a 90% chance or whatever to succeed, but it's still worth it, I think. And there I was trying to, what was I trying to do? Oh, the nail bomb, which had way too far of a radius. Would have caught Medora in it, I think. So I went with the Firestorm Grenade instead, which worked pretty good, I think. Putting down some more oil, make sure that that flaming zombie guy doesn't make it out of there alive. Oh, Crushing Fist, I was gonna be like, what was that? Yeah, the man-at-arms skills. So a bunch of guys with Crushing Fist. And now that I'm not sure what that was, but there's a guy that if I remember right, I teleported. Walking through the water. And at this point the fight is pretty much over. I mean, there's 2 guys left. And I just wanted to get it done with, so I made a couple mistakes here that didn't, because I was, you know, at this point I was in the lead, so to speak, in the fight by so much that it didn't really matter when I made these horrible mistakes, but you'll see what they are. Finishing up the zombies. That one's gone. And I think there's just the one guy left then. So the Legionnaires pretty much all okay, they are Legionnaires. The Legionnaires pretty much all rush in to fight him, which is fine, because then they'll get stunned and I don't gotta worry about it. If he stuns them, I should say. Doesn't always happen. Figured I'd, you know, help him out a little bit, throw a flare on him.
For me.
Because like I said, at this point, I kind of was just like, come on, I need to finish this. This is the third time that I've done this fight. I want it to be successful and done, so. Medora, the fighter. Oh yeah, I froze him, I think. Then, didn't know what else to do, so I think I just... Oh! Did that... Yeah, okay, I used the staff skill with the barrel in front of me, and so it didn't work. Which I would have known if I was paying more attention, probably, if that was going to happen. So yeah, no, that guy got stunned. But these two guys rush in, you know, help with the melee. And I forgot, I think, that her wand, one of her wands, is air. Which means it electrified the whole puddle. And now, I mean, yeah, I got 4 of my own people that are stunned. In a worse situation, that could very likely kill me. That is a terrible mistake. But
The spirits of winter
just have to
smile
watch more carefully with that from now on, I guess. Or about that. I mean, he's, you know, I've got this battle, but that was terrible. Come on, finish him off. There, and I think, yep, okay. And that is it.